Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. गाड़ी आगे चलो यार. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Toyota Fortuner and this is the regular Fortuner. I have reviewed the Legender before, but we are reviewing the regular Fortuner because of course this is the one which sells more. Oh my goodness, this is so freaking hot, insane. Alright, we're going to try this once again. After using both the hands, I have finally managed to open the engine bay of this Fortuner. It's super duper hot. This is very heavy, no hydraulic struts. That is the engine. You can see and feel the vibrations already. And the horn placement is right there. Yeah, that's a weird placement for the horn. It should be actually frontward, I believe. Any which ways, I'm going to close the hood. Finally managed to close the hood of the Toyota Fortuner. It is heavy and it is hot as well. You see the front is very much revised now. The grille is new, the lights are new, the bumper is new. Lot of changes. You get front parking sensors. Yeah, front parking sensors. This is the fog light of course, and this happens to be the indicator which is placed very low. Yeah, it's placed very low. This is not functional at the moment because I've just turned it on one side. I'll just shut it as well. See, chrome has been put on the side. Earlier chrome was somewhere right there and the lights have been revised. Obviously it gets a projector setup. It is an LED and it is bright enough at night. Massive Toyota logo up front. The Fortuner definitely looks very imposing on the streets. But from the side you really cannot make out much has changed because the 18-inch wheels are new. Now the size of the tire happens to be a 265/60/18. Could have been a better design for sure. You see massive gap between the wheel and the body. Of course it has a lot of ground clearance. This is plastic, the side body cladding. You get a side footstep as well, indicator on the outside rear view mirrors. And you see there's this chrome line which runs throughout the car. Very much Lexus-y, if there's a word that exists like that. Okay, at the rear, again, you see the lights are slimmer now. Of course, these are LED units. It says Sigma 4 because the one we are driving is not the Legender, which gets four-wheel drive. The Legender does not. Like I was telling you about the chrome line, it continues all throughout. You get a roof spoiler, you get a shark fin antenna. Let me just turn off the indicators because they're making some noise. Actually, when we step inside, it will. Oh my god, the car smells really very nice. That's thanks to this, the car perfume I've been using for the past few days. It's from Involve Your Senses and it's a brand I love as the fragrance throw is excellent. It's very easy to use and you can change the intensity of the fragrance very easily. You can place the perfume on the dashboard or in the cup holder and it does not leak. Using new technology fragrance infused with dry fresh, it gives excellent performance in SUVs and works very well in all weather conditions. You can check out www.involveyoursenses.com. I have put the link in the description. They have 75 other fragrances which can be tried in different formats. My all-time favorite is this one, Involve One Musk. And back to the vlog. We're going to be opening the boot of this vehicle straight away. I just press a button and there the boot actually opens. It's making some noise. It's taking some time. I don't know what's wrong with the car. I know what is wrong with the car. The door is not unlocked. So yeah, you have to unlock the doors. When you exit the car with just opening the driver door, it does not open all the doors as such. So you're just going to open the boot of the vehicle. The Legender also has this mechanism where you can just kick your foot below the rear bumper to open the tailgate. That feature is not there in the regular Fortuner. There it takes its own sweet time to open, and this is a 7-seater. One of the seat is up, so now it's a 6-seater. Now the thing is that the boot isn't that big with all the seats up. However, when you put them up also, the problem is it does not get the electronic function which the Endeavour gets. So you have to put in some effort to put it in place, and then it actually takes in a lot of space. Okay, easy to just pull this lever and there put it up, but I'm just going to put it down for a moment. Slots into place. Toyota really needs to offer more features. Specifically, the last row of seats should be easier to operate, like in the case of the Endeavour. We're just going to push this back. You can see the recline angle is actually quite impressive. Press this button and there the tailgate closes. It's just pretty slow. I don't know why it's so slow. It takes its own freaking sweet time. Says Fortuner on that chrome thingy below the Toyota logo. And that is the rear fog light which I've turned on at the moment. Let's get into the rear. You see there's good amount of space on offer, but the cabin is finished in black. Doesn't get the dual tone treatment which actually is offered in the Legender. That's again a miss. Door pockets are big enough. You have to actually climb into the car. Okay, scooped out seat back. There is a hook here. There's storage space along with a 12-volt charging socket, but there is no USB socket, which is the case in the Legender. Now this seat is reclined. Okay, you can see the recline. Now I can reduce the recline. Yeah, I can reduce it, or I can just tumble it like this. So easy to tumble it, and then it's easy to access the last row of seats. But the last row of seats don't really offer much space. It's best for children, not for adults. This row is much better. Obviously second row is actually very usable. Good amount of headroom on offer, decent amount of space, good amount of legroom and knee room. Under thigh support could have been better. There is a center armrest and there are cup holders right there. So overall cabin seems practical enough. It says Fortuner here. In case the rear passengers forget which car they are sitting in, Toyota will remind you for sure. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's get inside to the driver's side. Now certain features could have been there in this car which is a little disappointing, not offered. Obviously it gets keyless entry, it gets a push button start, it gets a cup holder which actually cools your drink as well. Plenty of buttons. This is for parking sensors, this is for the DPF which is the diesel particulate filter, this is to open the tailgate of the vehicle, this is to open the hood, this is to open the fuel lever and the fuel lid, and this is an electric adjust for the driver's seat as well as for the co-driver seat. Now you get auto up down power windows for all the passengers in this car. These are the controls for locking or unlocking the door, and this is obviously for the rear view mirror adjustment. You can close the rear view mirror by pressing a button. It says JBL. You know why? Because the Legender does not get this feature, but the regular Fortuner gets it. A 10 speaker JBL audio system. Let's get inside and I'll show it to you. There it is. It gets 10 speakers and one subwoofer as well. Audio quality, well, let's listen to it right away. Audio quality is actually quite impressive, huh? You've got twin glove boxes. The upper one also has the cooling function, and it says Fortuner here in case the co-passenger forgets. Press this and you can open the regular glove box, which is decent size. You can also lock it if you so wish. Seats are actually very comfortable. Height adjustable seat belt. You have a handle to hold on to. There is a mirror and light on both the sides. In fact, there's a handle on the driver's side as well, because body roll is something which is prevalent in this car. There's a sunglass holder, light placement on the top, white lights as such. The dashboard design is actually flat. It could have been better. Auto dimming inside rear view mirror, and this quality is good, but lot of hard plastics everywhere, so cost cutting has been done. You don't expect this from Toyota, you expect much better. Steering wheel feels nice to hold. It is actually adjustable both for reach as well as rake, and you've got a lot of buttons on the steering wheel. This is for the audio system, of course. This is for the cruise control, and this happens to be for that multi-information display. Now this instrument cluster has been revised as well. You get plenty of information, and you know what, it even shows you what is the steering angle. I mean, where are your wheels pointing? That's something which even the XUV300 does. So yes, plenty of information, and the meter is not that easy to read somehow. I don't like the coloring of it, but still it's something new. Paddle shifters, and this is the control for the headlights. It gets automatic headlights. These are the controls for the wipers. Okay, decent amount of spray. Wipers work, I mean, pretty well as well. Meanwhile, this is for the air conditioning system. The air conditioning works really well. You can turn on and off the rear AC. There is a 12-volt charging socket, and there's a USB charging socket, and this is for the seat ventilation. It gets ventilated seats for the front. This is for downhill assist. This is for the 4-wheel drive mode. Right now it's in 2 high. You can get into 4 high and 4 low as well, but unfortunately it doesn't get a wireless charging pad, which the Legender obviously gets. Below here you've got twin cup holders. The gearbox is regular Toyota affair. The drive modes are placed here. This is for stop start system, this is for traction control, and this is for the electronic locking rear differential and 2 dummy buttons. Below here there is storage space as well, and this does not slide. The handbrake should have been electric for sure in this car, and everywhere I see there's a lot of hard plastic. Steering wheel feels nice to hold the horn. It's actually meek for a car of this size and kind. The Fortuner obviously gets 6 airbags. It says SRS airbag right there. Even here there's a clock and hazard light switch. Now this is an 8-inch screen. Let's get into reverse. It gets a nice reverse parking camera, front and rear parking sensors, but these guidelines are not adaptive here, and there's not much in the screen, although it gets Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto connectivity. I mean, there's nothing much as such that you can enjoy or browse through. It's very basic in that regard. Could have been a little bit more adventurous with some graphics here or there. Even the instrument cluster could have been better in this vehicle, but how is this to drive? Let's get going straight away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning, getting into drive mode, getting into sport for the transmission, handbrake down, sport mode, traction control off as well, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard light off, wiper on, and oh my goodness, this engine is absolutely fantastic. This is a 2.8 liter turbocharged unit, which is absolutely smooth and refined now thanks to BS6 emission norms. Feels very punchy, has good amount of grunt lower down because peak torque actually comes in at 1600 RPM and stays there till 2800 RPM. The result is this is a car which has a lot of oomph, which is not the case earlier, but it's now refined as well. Like, the Fortuner has always been a fun to drive car because of the stiff suspension and the steering, which has a lot of weight, but the facelifted model is no different. In fact, it's even better because this engine uses a bigger or more powerful turbocharger. The result is, of course, it is more punchy in terms of performance thanks to 204 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. You can see it actually has a great low end performance, absolutely fantastic drivability, and mid-range is also fab. Only thing is it kind of struggles in the top end of the rev range. And then you have obviously got paddle shifters too. Look at the downshifts in sport mode. It downshifts with so much aggression. We've got 3 drive modes. Obviously there is eco, sport and normal, rather eco, normal and sport. Normal is like the best balance of efficiency and power. Meanwhile eco is for obviously increasing the fuel efficiency of the car, and in sport it gives everything it's got. In fact, there are 2 eco modes somehow. When you don't get hard on the throttle, there's an eco display in the tachometer which is telling you that okay, you're driving eco-friendly. But what an engine! This is absolutely fantastic. There's also a petrol engine, nobody cares about it, even Toyota doesn't. That's why they have 2 variants of the same. It doesn't come with 4-wheel drive, of course. It comes with 4x2 manual and 4x2 automatic. Meanwhile diesel has 5 variants, and you get 4x2 manual, 4x4 manual, 4x2 automatic, 4x4 automatic, and of course the Legender as well. Look at the grunt from this motor, my god, it gets very boomy. It's more silent than before, and then it's holding on to a gear. It's not upshifting unless and until I decide to do so. So here I should decide to do and not torture the engine anymore. Lovely. Now using the steering mounted paddles also, you can make shifts if you so wish. The gearbox takes its own sweet time to make shifts, but it's a 6-speed torque converter gearbox. It's decently quick with shifts, it's able to get you the right gear most of the times. But what is not able to get you right is the ride quality. It is on the stiff side, and it is very, very, very stiff. I mean, it's become slightly softer than before, so ride quality is acceptable, but you cannot get away from the fact that there's always a continuous movement which is happening, and that movement is happening because this is a body on frame platform, and a body on frame platform means okay, upshift, yeah, it means that the ride is not comfortable even on the smoothest of roads. But you go over really bad potholes, this car kind of feels indestructible. Yeah, ride quality is improved from before on the facelifted model, so is the performance, and I would say the handling is as good or bad as ever. The only thing is, the good thing about the handling of this car is that it actually has a great steering wheel. It's very heavy at low speeds, but actually weighs up at higher speeds beautifully well, and it's also very stable somehow because of the stiff suspension setup. Now, this being the 4-wheel drive has an advantage of you can go to places where there are no roads either, like we are going to join from somewhere. Yeah, there is no road in particular, but no problem at all. This is a Fortuner, and it just glides through without any hesitation. Yeah, moves around quite a bit, and onto the throttle. You can hear the boom, the sound, the noise, all of it. You cannot escape. But the biggest issue happens is when you want to take a U-turn because it has quite a turning radius. Okay, look at the turning radius. Here we go. Steering is heavy, so much so that you're like, let me do one thing, let me take the longer route and not having to actually do a complete U-turn. Then on this surface with a good ground clearance on offer, it of course body on frame platform, you know, the Fortuner will not get stuck. In fact, they've also added a electronic locking diff at the rear so that it performs even better. It has a very advanced traction control system. Let me see from where should I get up, because this is a Fortuner. You don't have to worry about anything. Okay, there is a road, so I thankfully avoided a U-turn. Now, a normal car would actually get stuck here, not the Fortuner. And guess what? I am just driving in 2-wheel drive mode at the moment. Okay, and off we go. And we're going to stop because braking performance is also quite nice. It has 4-wheel discs, of course. All right, let's go again. Listen to this, okay? Rear wheel drive for the win any day and every day, I would say. Okay, I love the way the Fortuner is so much fun to drive. It actually scares others silly. That is the level of, what do I call, the road presence, and you can clearly see everything around you. So yes, in terms of performance, it's fabulous. It's so smooth, it's so refined. It gets boomy in the higher end of the rev range, but then you will not complain about it because that's only when you try to push it hard. And redline comes in around 4 to 4,500 RPM, so not really a high revving engine, but feels very boomy in the top end. Now, the 3 drive modes which I'm talking about, Eco, Sport and Normal, rather Eco, Normal and Sport, what do? Basically, they alter the engine performance. There are 3 different maps. Obviously, you get the full 204 horsepower in Sport mode, where it feels the most sprightly to drive. This is a car which can actually hit 195 kilometers per hour, almost 200, but beyond 160 kilometers per hour, that stability is absolutely lacking, and you wouldn't really want to push it that fast. Okay, over bumps, no problem, just take it. I mean, it kind of feels indestructible, but the problem is it moves inside so much, and then around here, you can feel the roll. It does roll a lot of times, but who does it bother at all? Nobody, because most people who buy the Fortuner are able to compromise or ready to compromise for the ride quality just because of the road presence and the Toyota logo. Fuel efficiency is between 8 to 12 kilometers per liter depending on your driving style. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 11 seconds, which makes it one of the quickest SUVs in its class. And then how can I deny the fact that buying a 4x2 is also more than enough? The 4x4, well, in case you go off-roading, then only you'll need it. Most people won't, that's why they'll buy the Legender. Okay, the price of this particular car, 45.68 lakhs on-road Mumbai. Meanwhile, the Legender costs 46.28 lakhs, 60,000 more for the Legender. The range, the diesel range actually starts at 39.77 lakhs for the Fortuner. And you actually end up paying 2.75 lakhs more just for the automatic when compared to the manual. And 3.09 lakhs more, you guessed it, for the four-wheel drive system alone. So actually the Legender comes at a premium of 3.69 lakhs, which is an obnoxious premium, and then you see so much roll is happening. And of course, because traction control is off, it's kind of letting go of the rear. When you come to this very narrow road, push it around, stays composed. Again, just see, the steering is so nice and there's so much grip on offer. Massive tires, that also helps the cause when you're driving it over really bad roads in terms of the ride quality of the Toyota Fortuner. Okay, boomy, gets a little boomy, very boomy actually. Insulation could be better. They've done a good job of having a better insulation lower down the rev range, but when you go higher up, you're like, it sounds so uncomfortable. But then there's no power in the top end either. Now these paddle shifters are kind of useless because you're never wanting to use them. Why should I use paddle shifters when the gearbox does its job and then it doesn't give me complete manual control of things? So that's kind of useless. So that brings me the question, should you buy a Toyota Fortuner? Look, we are holding the red line at 4,500 RPM. I'll tell you simply, the Fortuner is one of the best cars in the segment because firstly, performance is great, but it lacks features, it lacks it does lack features and it lacks the comfort which its main rival offers, the Ford Endeavour. But you will never get to see this in the news that Toyota is planning to shut its plant in India, or it might just leave India. That's not going to happen, and that's one of the major reasons why you would put your faith in a Toyota car, because you know that Toyota is a very reliable company. The cars are built to last, and that is one of the major reasons why the Fortuner sells so well in the Indian market, because it's a very reliable machine. More than reliability, you can trust the Toyota brand, you can trust Toyota to do the right thing, and that also affects the resale value positively, and that's one of the reasons why people are buying it in hordes. The Fortuner has always been a great car in terms of road presence, and also it's fun to drive, but with the facelift that made it even better. My suggestion is either get the Legender for the looks, or just save those 3.69 lakhs and do not get the Legender. But four-wheel drive doesn't make much sense unless and until you are going to take it off-road, and with rear-wheel drive it's still so much fun because you can do a burnout, you can spin the wheels, and you can have a lot of fun. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you. So I was wondering, people actually bought Q3 for the price of the Fortuner. No. Q3 was still more expensive. But, that's the thing. People did not buy a German crossover-ish small SUV because it doesn't have the road presence of a Toyota Fortuner. Bye-bye.